Well guys, in case you missed my road trip video, I took a 1,300 mile round trip through 5 states to pick up a new rear suspension for the Baja. And while I covered the trip to Buggy Barn Fabrication in that video, by the way, I'll leave a link of that in the video description. In today's video, I'm going to give you a full tour of the features and benefits of Nick's setup. Welcome back to the garage, guys. I'm Damien, this is the Binder Builder, and while there's a few options available for various rear suspensions for Baja bugs, today I'm going to walk you through what I consider one of the strongest systems on the market. Now, is there stronger or even better systems available? Well, of course there are, but they're typically reserved for like Class 1 buggies or high-dollar sand cars. But for Baja bugs and sand rails, to be honest, I'm going to argue that this is probably one of the best systems available, especially if you consider the dollar-for-dollar value that Nick and Buggy Barn Fab actually provide you. I decided to make this video while I was filming my next video, where I actually installed this system onto the chassis, so forgive me for sizing everything up and putting it on the chassis, but I figured showing it on the chassis would give me a good place to present this information. Today I'm going to show you the custom torsion and the 5x5s that I got from Buggy Barn Fabrication. Real quick, I'm already mocking it up on my chassis. There's no time but the present, but I figure I'd make this quick video just to show you kind of what I'm doing, what I got, and why I got it. All right, guys, welcome back to the garage. Appreciate you joining me. I just wanted to go over real quick what I got from Buggy Barn last week. If you haven't watched that video, it's not part of the actual build series because there's nothing in there that's fabricating and things of that nature. It's just one of my road trip things, like when I went to, Shreddy Shack, Cartech, Evan. That was part of a playlist that was road trips and travel. And so for those of you who didn't watch that video, so let me just go over what I got from Nick. If you do see any of this stuff and you want to purchase it, I am not being sponsored by Nick at all. And he didn't give me any price breaks or anything of that nature. But you could find him on Facebook. It's called Buggy Barn Fabrication. Check it out on Facebook. But anyway, let's get on to this. Let me grab you. All right, what you're looking at here is basically his 5x5 boxed MicroStub arms with his custom torsion tube. So the custom torsion tube, this is this part right here. It basically replaces your entire torsion tube on your stock pan. I think it's meant for people who are building tube chassis or sand buggies. He is the Buggy Barn. But anyway, so I picked up this because I got rid of my stock pan, and with the stock pan, the weak and flimsy stock torsion tube. Because I'm going with coilover shocks, I do not need a torsion bar at all. And what I liked about Nick's stuff is this stuff is 2.5 by 1/4 DOM. Damn! Again, that's 2.5 by 1/4 DOM. That's super heavy duty stuff. I'm not going to lie to you. That's unbelievably heavy duty. And it's not that bad as far as weight is concerned, but it is definitely plenty of strength to hold up and not bend, break, unless I do something really stupid. If I bend this thing, I'm probably dead. I don't know, but it is definitely got the strength for me. So happy about that. So he basically uses stock pivots. So if you have a set of arms that fit a stock VW pan, you have arms that'll fit in his custom torsion tube. So you could always upgrade your stock one if it breaks with one of these babies. And what I paid for it was about $600. They were about $500. I finally bought one about a year or so later. They're about $600. I have no idea what they are now. I don't know when you're watching this. The internet's forever, right? So who knows what they're actually going for and if they're even available. I have no idea, but this is what I got. Then I got my 5x5 box tube. These are, I believe, 1/4. It could be 3/16. They're all flat plate. He laser cut, breaks them, and then puts them on a jig and welds them up. He is an extremely good welder, as you can see, and very consistent. Very good looking welds, nothing like mine. I mean, I do decent welds, don't get me wrong, but these are next level. I like them. One of the things I do super like is the made in the USA strengthening plates. These are just for additional bracing. He has them on the bottom as well, but the ones on the bottom are circular. When I was there, we had a conversation about these. Because it is kind of, I'll be honest with you, it's kind of a shame to cover it up with a shock mount. I'm going to tell you that right now. But
it is. And yeah, a lot of guys, oh man, I hate covering it up. It's like, I know.
What you should do, move this to the bottom plate and the 3 holes to the top.
But nobody ever see them.
Well, yeah, true. So I've got a compromise. I've got a way to have a made in the USA plate where it won't be covered up by your shock tabs. Instead of putting circles in the bottom one, make another made in USA and put it on the bottom. Maybe that's a solution, because we had talked about how he wants to have it on there because it is made in the USA, but he acknowledges that it kind of sucks when people have to put their shock mounts and you can't really see it completely. So maybe that's the thing. Put it on the top and on the bottom, and then no matter what, there's always one that's fully visible, and that'd be great. But anyway, so fully welded, stock inner pivots. These are obviously not stock pivot points. These are super heavy duty, 1/4 inch thick. He has them made, broke, and then he tack welds them on. Sure. And with that, let's see what makes this torsion tube special. All right, so I just want to take this apart with you watching so you can see how everything comes together, or comes apart, I should say. Basically, what he has is to lock the machine screw in. He has these little plates that he machines. These are pretty cool. This is kind of actually quite ingenious. Well, first of all, a machine screw is basically an Allen bolt. You know, one of the things that you'll see on regular torsion bar eliminators and things of that nature, in which he sells as well, is basically like some sort of pin or something that keeps the bolt from coming out, right? You don't want it to come out and your arms fall off while you're driving. But one of the things that sucks is, are they still tight? And so what he has is you take the Allen bolt and you can actually fit it in there and actually tighten it or loosen it and check it while it's still attached. You don't have to pull everything apart to do that. I thought that was freaking genius. Good job on that, Nick. But let's keep taking this thing apart. All right, here you can see basically this place. That's just the machine screw goes into here. The question is what's the tolerances and does that shake around? No, because he actually machines the machine screw down so it's super flat, and then he machines this piece so it actually fits perfectly into this little plate, and then it holds it and makes it a double shirt as well. So when I brought these home, I didn't know the size of this machine screw. I noticed that none of my Allen sockets actually fit it, which kind of sucks. So I had to go find out. So I pulled one of them out using some pliers and stuff to turn it, and it, you know, fine thread. That took a while. So I pulled it all the way out, and I took it to Home Depot, went to find the correct one. Couldn't find, they didn't carry them that big. So I went to their bolt section and tried different size bolts. I tried 1/2 inch, I tried 3/8 inch, and the 1/2 inch was too big. They didn't fit in there. The 3/8 were too small. It fit too much. So I went to the specialty bolt area, found some grade 5 7/16 because I was right between 3/8 and 1/2 inch. And I stuck that in, and sure enough, presto, it worked. Then I took that bolt back to the tool section and matched it to a 5/8 inch socket. So all I needed to find was I used a 1/2 inch socket with a 5/8 Allen bolt or Allen key. Went to the local auto parts store, went down the specialty tool aisle, went ahead and found a set of 3 for $15. I could have bought it online on Amazon for $5, just one, but you know, getting a set, my heart's not breaking having a whole set, and I got it that day, so you know, maybe it's my anyway. So that's how I got myself this coveted 5/8 Allen socket, and that goes right in like so. Just real quick, if anyone wants to sponsor me with one of those electric sockets, a little impact thing that I could use for taking this stuff apart, I'm all for it, man. Give me a call. At this view, you could actually see how this is nice and smooth. It was machined to fit that hole that makes it a perfect fit for that double shear. So there's no looseness or anything of that nature. Hopefully you guys could see that inside there. Yeah, so there's the slug, hence the welded all the way around, of course. He does say he makes these press fit, and then as you can see, he cuts out or makes these 3/8 inch caps, which he taps for the Allen, the small Allen keys for that little cap to keep it from backing out on its own. And then you've got the inner spacer, which is just like that. So the inner spacer kind of goes against the slug. And then as you put this in, the actual head of the bolt will make the other side of the spacer to capture your heim. And he uses 3/4 heims. Now he does use Aurora rod ends, so those are some of the best in the business. I think the 3/4, if I remember correctly, back when I did my scouts, I don't know if it's the same now, but about 60,000 pounds of force to cause to break that. And if you're wondering, so like I said, this is the spacer. So if you notice, shoop, it actually does shank. You know, this shank is just long enough to go all the way through. Then you have the spacer, and then you have basically 2 inches of thread going into the slug that's in the torsion tube itself. So that's how the whole system works. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Could you make something like this at home? Yeah, you'd have to lathe that, you'd have to lathe that, you'd have to lathe that, you have to lathe a slug, weld it all together, cut, machine cut out the torsion tube itself. But other than that, if you got all those machines, yeah, knock yourself out. Should I have built my own? Well, I'll be honest, if I would have built my own, you wouldn't be seeing a 3/4 rod end, it would be 1.25 inches. And that would make this one hell of a little bung in there. That just would be awesome. Don't you think that'd be awesome? Oh. Anyway, I digress. But anyway, that's how this thing comes apart. Pretty basic, pretty simple. I'll be honest, I'm happy I got it. Could I have made something like this? Yeah, but probably not the way he did. Not the way this is engineered and things of that nature. Plus, I know this works. And sometimes there's some happiness when you know something just works. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's put this thing back together. I will say that getting it back together is super simple, but it's made even easier if you support the end with a jack stand. I also use a pair of pliers to hold the inner spacer in place while I push the bolt through, since my hands are big and clumsy. Again, anyone who wants to donate a power ratchet, I'm all for it. I'll even take the old ones, man. If you got something you don't use anymore, you upgraded, or your wife bought you brand new ones for Christmas, send them my way. All right, as you see, that's basically how it all comes apart and goes back together again. Pretty simple, nothing really too crazy. Yeah, that's the system I'm using, the 5x5s and the custom torsion from Nick over at Buggy Barn Fab. So if you're interested in that, again, look up his Facebook group. He'll be happy to sell you them. If he's got any in stock, he does make them continually. Sometimes he's out of stock. So he's just a one-man show. And so, yeah, so go ahead and give him a holler. And I think you'll be happy with what you get. Well, guys, that's all I have for this video. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comment section, and I'll do my best to answer them. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Damien, and this is the Binder Builder.